Woman in luxury store mocks black man's budget, then finds out he's a billionaire. In the heart of a bustling city, where skyscrapers kissed the clouds and luxury was the language of the elite, stood a prestigious jewelry store known for its exquisite designs and impeccable service. The glass facade glimmered under the bright afternoon sun, drawing the attention of passers-by who marveled at the shimmering gems displayed within. The store's reputation for catering to high-profile clientele had made it a destination for those seeking to adorn themselves with the finest pieces of art crafted from precious metals and stones. Before we can continue, if you love your family, subscribe to this channel to help up creating amazing stories. Now, let's continue. Inside, the atmosphere was a blend of sophistication and opulence. The air was infused with the subtle scent of expensive perfumes, while soft classical music played in the background, creating an inviting yet exclusive ambience. Elegant chandeliers hung from the ceiling, their crystals sparkling like diamonds, casting a warm glow over the polished marble floors. Each display case was meticulously arranged, showcasing the store's latest collections, diamond-encrusted necklaces, sapphire-studded rings, and watches that could rival the grandeur of any royal crown. As customers browsed, the sales staff, dressed in tailored suits and impeccable attire, moved gracefully about the floor, ready to assist with the needs of their affluent clients. Their demeanor exuded confidence and professionalism, but behind their polished smiles often lay an unspoken hierarchy, a sense of superiority rooted in their clientele's wealth. Among the customers was a well-dressed black man in his early 40s, exuding an air of quiet confidence. He entered the store with a purposeful stride, his tailored suit accentuating his stature, a sharp contrast to the usual clientele. He approached the jewelry displays with a discerning eye, carefully examining each piece, as if he were contemplating a work of art. The man's presence was magnetic. He carried himself with a blend of humility and assurance, the kind that comes from knowing one's worth without needing to flaunt it. However, his appearance and demeanor did not go unnoticed by the sales staff. As the man perused the elegant display of watches, he caught the eye of a saleswoman, a woman in her 30s with perfectly styled hair and a designer outfit that spoke of luxury and exclusivity. She was known for her keen ability to identify potential buyers at a glance, a skill that had earned her a reputation in the store. Today, however, her keen eyes seemed clouded by preconceived notions. With a quick assessment, she approached him, a slight smirk playing on her lips. "Can I help you with something?" she asked, her tone laced with condescension. Her gaze flicked over him, taking in his attire, which, while undoubtedly expensive, lacked the ostentation typically favored by the store's wealthiest patrons. The black man paused, turning to meet her gaze. "I'm just looking for a special piece," he replied, his voice calm and measured. There was no hint of defensiveness in his tone. He seemed at ease, comfortable in his own skin despite the obvious judgment being cast upon him. The saleswoman's eyes narrowed slightly, her expression a mix of disbelief and amusement. It was clear she doubted his ability to make a significant purchase. The atmosphere shifted as she leaned in, lowering her voice conspiratorially, as if to share a secret. "You might want to check the budget section then," she quipped, a hint of mockery threading through her words. Unfazed, the black man smiled politely. He had encountered this kind of judgment before, the kind that often came from those who assumed they could read a person's worth based solely on their appearance. He continued to browse the pieces, his focus unbroken, even as the saleswoman lingered nearby, casting glances that oozed skepticism. The tension in the air thickened, palpable enough to cut with a knife. Other customers in the store glanced over, sensing the encounter, but unsure of how it would unfold. It was a classic moment of misjudgment, a scenario as old as time itself, where wealth and class were displayed as badges of honor, often at the expense of common decency and respect. Yet, unbeknownst to the saleswoman, this encounter was about to take a turn she never anticipated. The black man, with a steady gaze and an air of quiet authority, was not just any shopper. He was a significant player in the business world, a successful investor who had a hand in shaping the very luxury market she so revered. As he continued to inspect the jewelry, Contemplating his options with a discerning eye, he felt the weight of the moment, a moment that would soon challenge the assumptions and biases held by the woman standing before him. The juxtaposition of the luxury store's opulence and the undercurrents of classism and prejudice created an intriguing backdrop for this encounter. The scene was set for a revelation that would not only silence the scoffing woman but also serve as a stark reminder of the dangers of making assumptions based on superficial judgments. As the minutes ticked by, the air crackled with tension and the anticipation built. What would happen next? Would the woman recognize her error, or would she double down on her assumptions? The story was unfolding, and it was clear that this encounter would leave a lasting impression on both characters involved, a moment frozen in time that would echo long after they left the store. In this world of luxury and privilege, the lesson was simple yet profound. One should never underestimate the power of a person's true worth, for it often lies far beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered by those willing to look beyond mere appearances. As the scene unfolds, the camera focuses on the two main characters, the saleswoman and the black man, whose lives are about to intersect in a significant way. Each character carries their own story, shaped by their experiences and perceptions, which will soon clash in this high-stakes setting. The saleswoman, let's call her Claire, stood in front of the jewelry display with an air of confidence that masked her insecurities. She had spent years climbing the ranks in the luxury retail world, starting as a mere sales associate and now serving as a top saleswoman in one of the city's most prestigious jewelry stores. Claire was proud of her achievements, her tailored suits and polished demeanor reflecting the success she had worked hard to attain. Yet, beneath the surface of her meticulously curated appearance lay a nagging doubt that she rarely acknowledged. Claire had always been surrounded by wealth, having grown up in a family that valued status above all else. Her parents, both successful professionals, instilled in her the belief that worth was measured by the brand names one wore and the social circles one frequented. From a young age, she learned to associate luxury with identity. The finer things in life were not just possessions, but symbols of success and approval. This belief system influenced her approach to her job, often leading her to judge customers based on their appearance. In her mind, the affluent deserved the best, and those who looked the part were the ones she prioritized. As she observed the black man, Claire made an immediate judgment. He was dressed in a tailored suit, but it lacked the ostentatious flair she associated with high-end shoppers. His shoes, though polished, were understated, and his watch, while elegant, didn't scream designer. She couldn't help but think that he didn't belong in her world, that he was out of place among the glittering diamonds and luxurious fabrics. She felt a sense of superiority, convinced that her experience allowed her to read people effortlessly, to discern who was worthy of her attention. Across the store, the black man, let's call him Marcus, was acutely aware of the scrutiny he faced. A successful entrepreneur and investor, Marcus had built his wealth from the ground up, defying the odds in an industry that often sidelined individuals who looked like him. His journey was one of resilience and determination. He had faced countless challenges, overcoming obstacles that had threatened to derail his ambitions. Each success had been hard-won, a testament to his dedication and skill. Marcus had always believed that true wealth lay not in possessions, but in the relationships one built and the lives one impacted. He had learned early on that people would often make assumptions about him based on his appearance, and he had developed a thick skin as a result. His experiences had taught him the importance of self-worth and authenticity, values that he held dear. Yet, despite his success, moments like the one he was experiencing in the jewelry store still stung. As he browsed through the glittering displays, Marcus felt the familiar pang of judgment wash over him. He noticed Claire's condescending demeanor and her dismissive remarks. The memory of similar encounters flooded back. A waitress who ignored him while serving others, a car dealer who assumed he couldn't afford a luxury vehicle. Each incident reinforced the reality of societal biases, and yet, he remained steadfast in his belief that he had a right to be here, just as much as anyone else. Despite the weight of the moment, Marcus was not deterred. He had come to the store with a specific purpose, to find a meaningful piece of jewelry for his wife, a woman who had stood by him through thick and thin, supporting his dreams and ambitions. He envisioned presenting her with a piece that would not only symbolize his love, but also reflect the journey they had taken together, a testament to their shared victories and the challenges they had overcome. As Marcus continued to examine the jewelry, he took note of the craftsmanship, the intricate details that set each piece apart. He appreciated the artistry involved, understanding that luxury items were not just about price tags, but also about the stories they told. With each item he picked up, he imagined how it would resonate with his wife, how it would make her feel cherished and valued. The idea of gifting her something special filled him with excitement, and he was determined to find the perfect piece, regardless of the judgment he faced from Claire. Meanwhile, Claire was caught in a tug-of-war between her preconceived notions and the reality unfolding before her. As she observed Marcus, she felt a flicker of curiosity beneath her facade of superiority. Why was he here? She wondered. What kind of man could be so unassuming yet stand confidently in a store filled with opulence? It was a conflict she rarely experienced, as her interactions were usually straightforward. Wealthy clients were eager to spend, and she was more than willing to cater to their desires. As the tension mounted, Claire felt compelled to assert herself, to re-establish her position in this social hierarchy. She approached Marcus once more, this time with a forced smile. "If you're looking for something specific, I'd be happy to help," she said, trying to project an air of professionalism, though her voice still carried the weight of skepticism. Marcus turned to her, meeting her gaze with a calm demeanor. "I appreciate that. I'm looking for something special for my wife," he replied, his tone warm and inviting, a stark contrast to Claire's earlier attitude. The exchange marked a subtle shift. In that moment, Claire's facade began to crack. She saw the genuine intent in Marcus's eyes and felt a pang of guilt for her earlier assumptions. She had been so quick to judge, so certain of her place in this world that she had overlooked the deeper story unfolding before her. As they continued to converse, Claire found herself intrigued by Marcus's insights. He spoke passionately about the significance of meaningful gifts, emphasizing that luxury was not merely about the price, but rather the emotions attached to an item. Claire listened, captivated by the sincerity in his voice, and for the first time, she began to question her own beliefs about worth and status. Marcus, on the other hand, was aware of the transformation taking place in Claire. As she engaged him in conversation, he sensed her initial judgment softening, the barriers she had constructed beginning to crumble. He recognized that this was a pivotal moment, not just for himself, but for her as well. They continued to discuss the intricacies of various pieces, and as Marcus shared his vision for the perfect gift, Claire began to see him not just as a customer, but as a fellow human being. She realized that her previous judgments were not only unfair, but also limiting. In this world where appearances often dictated one's treatment, she had allowed herself to become a prisoner of her own biases. The irony of the situation was palpable. Here was a man whose achievements were immeasurable, yet he was being treated as if he were less than deserving. Claire felt a wave of shame wash over her as she recognized her failure to see the bigger picture. This encounter was not merely about a transaction. It was about connection, understanding, and growth. As the conversation flowed, Claire felt a shift within herself. The confidence she had derived from her position began to dissolve, replaced by a newfound humility. She was learning a lesson in empathy, one that would shape her interactions moving forward. This realization was both unsettling and enlightening, forcing her to confront her ingrained biases and the impact they had on her life and career. Meanwhile, Marcus was unaware of the internal struggle taking place within Claire. He was focused on finding the perfect piece for his wife, drawing from his own experiences and emotions to guide him. As he and Claire discussed different options, he sensed that she was beginning to open up, to truly engage with him beyond the surface level. The moments they shared were no longer just about jewelry. They became a dialogue about perception, expectation, and the complexities of human connection. Marcus's genuine demeanor broke through Claire's defenses, allowing her to see him as more than just a potential sale. As they explored the different pieces together, Claire found herself drawn to Marcus's vision. His passion and authenticity were infectious, and she realized that her role as a salesperson extended beyond merely closing a deal. It was about creating an experience, understanding a customer's desires, and cultivating a sense of belonging within her store. The dynamic between them continued to evolve. Claire began to suggest pieces that aligned with Marcus's vision, her previous skepticism replaced by a sincere desire to assist him. Each recommendation felt like a step toward redemption for her. She was no longer the judge, but a collaborator in this meaningful exchange. As they moved through the store, Claire felt a sense of pride in her ability to help Marcus find the right piece. The luxury items that had once felt like mere status symbols began to take on a new significance. They were now vessels of love and connection, reflections of the bonds that transcended wealth and class. By the time Marcus settled on a stunning piece, a diamond pendant that encapsulated the essence of their journey together, Claire felt a deep sense of satisfaction. This moment was not just about a sale. It was about breaking down barriers and fostering understanding between two individuals from vastly different worlds. As they completed the transaction, Claire realized that her encounter with Marcus would linger in her mind long after he left the store. It had challenged her assumptions and reshaped her perspective on luxury and identity. This experience would serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of seeing beyond appearances, of recognizing the humanity in everyone, regardless of their background or status. As Marcus exited the store with a beautifully wrapped pendant in hand, he felt a sense of accomplishment, not just in finding the perfect gift, but in fostering a moment of connection that transcended the ordinary. He had taken the time to engage with someone who initially viewed him through a narrow lens, and in doing so, he had opened the door to understanding and growth for both of them. For Claire, this encounter was a turning point. She had learned a valuable lesson about humility, empathy, and the importance of not letting superficial judgments dictate her interactions. As she watched Marcus walk away, she felt a profound sense of gratitude for the encounter, recognizing that it had not only enriched her professional life, but had also contributed to her personal growth. This moment, filled with significance and meaning, was a reminder that life is full of unexpected lessons, and the people we encounter along the way can teach us more than we ever anticipated. In a world where luxury often comes with a price tag, it is the connections we forge and the understanding we cultivate that hold the true value. As the story unfolds further, we delve deeper into the lives of Marcus and Claire, exploring their backgrounds, motivations, and the societal constructs that shape their perceptions of one another. The encounter in the luxury store serves as a microcosm of broader issues regarding race, class, and the often unspoken biases that permeate our daily interactions. Marcus had always been aware of the challenges he faced as a Black man navigating the world of business and wealth. From a young age, he had been acutely conscious of the stereotypes that surrounded him. Raised in a community that valued resilience and perseverance, Marcus learned early on that he would have to work twice as hard to achieve the same recognition as his white counterparts. He often found himself in spaces where he was the only person of color, and he had become accustomed to the sideways glances and whispers that accompanied his presence. Despite these challenges, Marcus forged ahead with unwavering determination. He pursued a business degree at a prestigious university, where he excelled academically and formed meaningful connections with mentors who recognized his potential. These relationships would prove invaluable as he embarked on his career, providing him with opportunities that might otherwise have been out of reach. However, even in these environments, he encountered subtle forms of discrimination that tested his resolve. He vividly recalled a networking event where he was introduced to a prominent investor. The man, after a brief conversation, suggested that Marcus might find more success in fields more suited to his background, implying that his appearance somehow limited his potential. This comment stung, but Marcus used it as fuel to drive him further. He was determined to break down barriers and show the world that his race did not define his abilities. His entrepreneurial journey began with a startup focused on sustainable products. He poured his heart and soul into the venture, believing that business could be a force for good in society. Through grit and innovation, he attracted investors and slowly built a reputation in the industry. Each victory was a testament to his hard work, and with every milestone, he felt he was not just elevating himself, but also paving the way for others who would follow. However, the road was not without its pitfalls. Despite his success, Marcus often found himself having to prove his worth repeatedly. He encountered clients and partners who questioned his expertise, scrutinizing his every move. It was a frustrating reality, but he learned to navigate these situations with grace. He developed a strategy of over-preparing, often anticipating questions and objections before they arose. He would enter meetings armed with data, insights, and a clear vision, determined to command respect and challenge the preconceived notions others held. At the same time, Marcus made a conscious effort to give back to his community. He established a mentorship program for young Black entrepreneurs, offering guidance and resources to help them navigate the complexities of business. This initiative became a source of pride for him, as he was able to share his experiences and empower the next generation. He wanted to demonstrate that success was possible and that the barriers that existed could be dismantled with determination and support. Meanwhile, Claire's journey unfolded against a contrasting backdrop. Raised in a privileged environment, she had always been surrounded by wealth and opulence. Her family's social status came with expectations. She was groomed to uphold their reputation, to pursue a career that aligned with their values. Claire was often reminded that her worth was tied to her appearance and accomplishments, and she internalized these messages over the years. Claire's career in luxury retail seemed like a natural fit. It allowed her to indulge in her love for fashion and aesthetics while simultaneously elevating her social standing. She had thrived in the fast-paced environment, relishing the opportunities to showcase her knowledge and expertise. However, as she climbed the corporate ladder, she began to feel the weight of the expectations placed upon her. The pressure to maintain a polished image and meet sales targets became overwhelming at times. Despite her success, Claire battled her own insecurities. She found herself comparing her achievements to those of her colleagues, often feeling inadequate. Her confidence, which had once been a hallmark of her personality, began to waver. The very industry that had once provided her with a sense of fulfillment became a source of anxiety. She grappled with imposter syndrome, constantly questioning whether she truly belonged in such an exclusive environment. In her quest for validation, Claire had unknowingly adopted a defensive demeanor. She put on a facade of superiority, distancing herself from customers who didn't fit her preconceived notions of wealth. This behavior stemmed from her desire to protect her self-image. If she could dismiss those she deemed unworthy, it would affirm her own place within the luxury landscape. Yet, this strategy was flawed, as it alienated potential connections and prevented her from embracing the richness of diversity. As the pivotal encounter in the jewelry store unfolded, both characters stood at a crossroads, unaware of the profound impact their interactions would have on their lives. The moment Claire scoffed at Marcus's apparent budget was a reflection of her ingrained biases, a manifestation of the societal constructs that dictated who was worthy of luxury and who was not. However, this encounter would ultimately challenge her beliefs and force her to confront her assumptions. Marcus, with his wealth and success, embodied a narrative that Claire had never fully considered. He represented not only the potential for success outside her social circle, but also the complexities of identity and race in the world of wealth. As they engaged in conversation, the walls began to crumble. Claire found herself drawn to Marcus's authenticity, recognizing that his journey was not just about financial success, but also about resilience, passion, and a commitment to uplifting others. She began to understand that luxury was not solely defined by monetary value, but also by the stories behind each piece, the emotions tied to them, and the people who cherish those connections. Meanwhile, Marcus sensed the shift in Claire's demeanor. Her initial skepticism was fading, replaced by a genuine curiosity. He appreciated the opportunity to share his perspective, to educate her on the nuances of his experiences. In that moment, he recognized the power of storytelling, the ability to connect through shared narratives, to bridge the gap between their vastly different worlds. As they discussed the jewelry, Marcus took the opportunity to explain the significance of the piece he ultimately chose for his wife. He spoke about the memories they had created together, the struggles they had faced as a couple, and how this gift would symbolize their love and commitment. Claire listened intently, captivated by the depth of his words. She found herself reflecting on her own motivations, questioning whether her interactions with customers had ever delved beyond the surface. The conversation evolved, allowing Claire to share her own story. She admitted her struggles with self-doubt, the pressure to conform to societal expectations, and the realization that her worldview had been limited. This moment of vulnerability marked a turning point in their interaction, transforming the dynamic between them. No longer were they simply customer and salesperson. They were two individuals navigating their own complexities, seeking connection and understanding. As the dialogue continued, Claire felt a sense of liberation wash over her. She had spent years adhering to an unyielding standard, but in this exchange, she was able to shed that weight. The encounter with Marcus illuminated the importance of empathy and understanding, urging her to reevaluate her beliefs about worth and identity. Meanwhile, Marcus felt a sense of accomplishment as well. By sharing his experiences, he was able to challenge the preconceived notions that had long been ingrained in individuals like Claire. He recognized that these moments of connection were not just opportunities for personal growth, but also for societal change. Each interaction could serve as a catalyst for dismantling biases, fostering a culture of inclusivity and understanding. As they concluded their discussion and Marcus made his purchase, Claire felt a profound sense of gratitude for the encounter. It was a reminder that life was full of unexpected lessons, and the people we met along the way could teach us more than we ever anticipated. She realized that her role in the luxury retail space extended beyond sales. It was about fostering connections, embracing diversity, and celebrating the unique stories that each individual brought to the table. The experience left a lasting impression on both characters. For Marcus, it reaffirmed his belief in the power of connection and the importance of sharing stories. He left the store feeling not only accomplished in finding the perfect gift, but also inspired by the possibility of change. He had opened a door for understanding, not just for Claire, but for the larger societal constructs they both inhabited. For Claire, the encounter marked a significant turning point in her life. It served as a reminder that true luxury was not merely defined by material possessions, but by the richness of human connection. She resolved to approach her interactions with customers differently moving forward, striving to foster an inclusive environment where everyone felt valued and seen. In the days that followed, Claire found herself reflecting on her encounter with Marcus frequently. It became a pivotal moment that shaped her perspective and approach to her work. She made a conscious effort to engage with customers from diverse backgrounds, eager to learn from their stories and experiences. Meanwhile, Marcus continued to thrive in his business endeavors, using his platform to advocate for change and inclusivity in the entrepreneurial landscape. He remained dedicated to empowering others, sharing his knowledge and experiences with aspiring entrepreneurs who sought guidance. Their paths, though divergent, remained interconnected through that one impactful encounter. It served as a reminder of the power of empathy, the importance of questioning one's biases, and the potential for growth that arises from genuine connections. In a world often divided by superficial distinctions, both Marcus and Claire emerged from their encounter with a renewed sense of purpose and understanding, ready to embrace the richness of the human experience. This expanded section delves deeper into the characters' backgrounds and their evolving perceptions, creating a more profound emotional connection. If you need further expansions or adjustments, just let me know. As the story progresses, the impact of Marcus and Claire's encounter ripples outward, influencing not only their personal journeys, but also the broader community around them. The transformative experience in the luxury store serves as a catalyst for change, prompting both characters to reflect on their roles in a society marked by disparities and preconceived notions. For Marcus, the realization that he could challenge societal norms and perceptions became a driving force in his career. The interaction with Claire opened his eyes to the potential of using his platform to advocate for inclusivity within the luxury and business sectors. Inspired by the unexpected connection they had forged, he decided to take a more active role in promoting diversity and representation in the industry. Marcus began by leveraging his position as an investor in the luxury store's parent company to initiate conversations about diversity at the corporate level. He reached out to fellow investors and executives, emphasizing the importance of representation in marketing, hiring practices, and product offerings. His goal was to create an environment where individuals from all backgrounds felt welcomed and valued, breaking down the barriers that often kept marginalized voices from being heard. He proposed a series of initiatives aimed at showcasing diverse talent in the luxury space. This included partnering with emerging designers from underrepresented communities and creating mentorship programs for aspiring entrepreneurs of color. Marcus believed that by providing opportunities and resources, he could help pave the way for a new generation of leaders who would bring fresh perspectives to the industry. At the same time, Marcus recognized the importance of storytelling in shaping perceptions. He began to organize events that celebrated diverse narratives within the luxury world. These gatherings served as platforms for artists, designers, and entrepreneurs to share their experiences and journeys, allowing attendees to gain a deeper understanding of the complexities behind luxury products and the individuals who create them. One of the first events he organized was a panel discussion featuring successful Black entrepreneurs in the fashion and beauty industries. He invited Claire to join the panel, recognizing that her unique perspective as a luxury retail professional would add depth to the conversation. Claire, initially hesitant, agreed, realizing that this was an opportunity to confront her own biases and share her growth since their encounter. The event attracted a diverse audience, including young entrepreneurs, aspiring designers, and industry professionals eager to learn from the panelists' experiences. As the discussion unfolded, it became evident that many attendees had faced similar challenges, grappling with issues of race, identity, and representation in their careers. The conversations were raw and honest, fostering an environment of vulnerability and support. During the panel, Claire found herself reflecting on her journey and the shifts in her perspective. She shared her experience of growing up in a privileged environment, admitting the biases she had harbored without realizing it. She spoke candidly about her encounter with Marcus, emphasizing how it had forced her to confront her preconceived notions and inspired her to embrace a more inclusive approach to her work. Marcus, too, shared his story, recounting the struggles he had faced as a Black entrepreneur in a predominantly white industry. He spoke about the importance of resilience and community support in overcoming obstacles. The panel resonated deeply with the audience, igniting conversations that extended beyond the event itself. Following the success of the panel discussion, Marcus and Claire collaborated on a series of workshops aimed at empowering aspiring entrepreneurs from marginalized backgrounds. They focused on topics such as business strategy, marketing, and networking, providing attendees with practical tools and insights to navigate the complexities of the industry. Their partnership became a symbol of what could be achieved when individuals from different backgrounds came together to share knowledge and support one another. As they worked closely together, Marcus and Claire formed a deep friendship. They found solace in each other's experiences, exchanging ideas and insights that enriched their understanding of the world. Claire admired Marcus's unwavering determination to effect change, while Marcus appreciated Claire's willingness to confront her biases and advocate for a more inclusive environment. Through their collaboration, they discovered the power of allyship. Marcus learned to appreciate the unique challenges that individuals from privileged backgrounds faced, while Claire gained a deeper understanding of the systemic issues that marginalized communities confronted daily. Together, they became advocates for change, striving to create a more equitable landscape within the luxury and business sectors. Meanwhile, the impact of their efforts began to resonate beyond their immediate community. The luxury store's parent company took notice of the initiatives Marcus and Claire had implemented, recognizing the value of diversity and inclusion as a driving force for innovation and growth. The company began to adopt new marketing strategies that highlighted diverse voices and experiences, creating campaigns that reflected the rich tapestry of the world around them. As the company embraced this new direction, it became the leader in the luxury industry, setting an example for others to follow. Competitors took note of the positive reception and increased customer engagement that resulted from the company's commitment to diversity. Inspired by this success, other luxury brands began to reevaluate their own practices, seeking ways to incorporate inclusivity into their operations. Marcus and Claire's partnership continued to thrive as they expanded their reach. They organized conferences that brought together thought leaders, industry professionals, and aspiring entrepreneurs to discuss the future of luxury and the importance of representation. These events became catalysts for change, sparking discussions that transcended the confines of the luxury sector and delved into broader societal issues. Throughout this journey, both Marcus and Claire faced challenges that tested their resolve. They encountered resistance from individuals who were hesitant to embrace change, fearing the loss of traditional values and practices. However, they remained steadfast in their commitment to inclusivity, understanding that true progress often required confronting uncomfortable truths. In one particularly challenging meeting with corporate executives, Marcus presented data that highlighted the benefits of diversity in driving innovation and improving customer engagement. Some executives were resistant, clinging to outdated beliefs about luxury and exclusivity. Marcus, undeterred, continued to advocate for change, emphasizing that the luxury industry had the potential to evolve and adapt to a more inclusive future. Meanwhile, Claire worked diligently to foster a culture of inclusivity within her store. She implemented training programs for her colleagues, focusing on unconscious bias and customer engagement. She encouraged her team to embrace diverse perspectives and to approach every customer with an open mind. This shift in culture transformed the store into a welcoming space where individuals from all walks of life felt valued and respected. As their efforts gained momentum, Marcus and Claire received recognition for their work. They were invited to speak at conferences and events, sharing their journey and advocating for the importance of diversity in business. Their story resonated with audiences, inspiring others to challenge their biases and embrace a more inclusive approach in their own lives. The culmination of their journey came when they were honored with an award for their contributions to promoting diversity and inclusion in the luxury industry. The recognition was a testament to their hard work and dedication, but it also served as a reminder of the ongoing challenges that lay ahead. They knew that while progress had been made, there was still much work to be done. As they stood on stage to accept the award, Marcus and Claire exchanged glances, their friendship stronger than ever. They reflected on the journey that had brought them to this moment, the unexpected encounter in the jewelry store that had ignited a powerful movement for change. In their acceptance speech, they emphasized the importance of collaboration and allyship in effecting meaningful change. They urged others to join them in the fight for inclusivity, reminding everyone that the true essence of luxury lay not in exclusivity, but in the richness of diversity and the connections forged through understanding. In the months that followed, their partnership continued to flourish. They expanded their initiatives to include scholarship programs for young entrepreneurs, providing financial support and mentorship to those from underrepresented backgrounds. They believed that by investing in the next generation, they could create a ripple effect that would lead to lasting change in the industry. Marcus and Claire's story became a beacon of hope, demonstrating that change was possible when individuals from different backgrounds came together to share their experiences and support one another. They proved that luxury could be a force for good, one that celebrated diversity and uplifted voices that had long been silenced. Ultimately, their journey became a testament to the power of connection, empathy, and the unwavering belief that together, they could create a more inclusive world. They knew that their work was far from over, but they embraced the challenges ahead with courage and determination, fueled by the knowledge that every step taken towards inclusivity was a step towards a brighter future. As the months passed, Marcus and Claire's efforts began to bear fruit in ways they had never anticipated. The initiatives they had implemented sparked a cultural shift within the luxury industry, encouraging brands to rethink their approaches to diversity and representation. Marcus, now a prominent advocate for inclusivity, found himself invited to speak at various conferences and events around the globe. He shared his story not only as a personal narrative but as a blueprint for change, emphasizing the critical role that diverse perspectives play in innovation and success. At one notable event in New York City, Marcus delivered a keynote speech titled, "Redefining Luxury: The Power of Diversity." As he stood before an audience filled with industry leaders, aspiring entrepreneurs, and influencers, he felt a mix of nerves and excitement. He opened his speech by recounting his encounter with Claire, detailing the initial misunderstanding and the subsequent revelations that had transformed his perspective. "I stood in that luxury store, dressed in a suit, yet somehow invisible to the woman behind the counter," Marcus began. "I was a potential customer, yet she saw me through a lens clouded by prejudice. But what she didn't know was that I was not just a customer. I was an investor in the very brand she represented." His words resonated with the audience, who leaned in, captivated by the honesty and vulnerability in his voice. As he continued, Marcus highlighted the systemic issues that perpetuate inequality in the luxury market. He emphasized the need for brands to recognize the value of diversity, not just as a buzzword, but as a vital component of their business strategy. He encouraged industry leaders to take actionable steps toward inclusivity, such as diversifying their hiring practices, collaborating with underrepresented artists and designers, and creating marketing campaigns that reflect the diverse tapestry of their consumer base. Luxury should not be defined by exclusivity, but by the richness of experiences and stories we bring to the table, he stated passionately. When we celebrate diversity, we unlock new avenues for creativity, innovation, and connection. It's time for us to rethink our understanding of luxury. Following Marcus's speech, Claire took the stage to share her perspective as a retail professional. She spoke about her own journey of self-discovery, recounting the lessons she had learned since her encounter with Marcus. "I realized that my previous perceptions of luxury were limited by my own experiences," she admitted. "I had unconsciously contributed to a culture that marginalized voices like Marcus's. But together, we've embarked on a journey to change that narrative." Claire discussed the initiatives she had implemented at her store to create a more inclusive environment. She shared stories of customers who had felt overlooked and unrepresented, emphasizing the importance of empathy in retail. "Every customer has a story, and it's our responsibility to listen and honor those stories," she urged. The two shared a powerful moment on stage, underscoring their commitment to collaboration and allyship. Their chemistry and shared vision left a lasting impression on the audience, sparking conversations that continued long after the event concluded. Attendees approached them, eager to learn how they could implement similar initiatives within their own organizations. Inspired by their example, several luxury brands began to reach out to Marcus and Claire for guidance on creating more inclusive practices. They received requests for consultations, workshops, and training sessions aimed at educating employees about the importance of diversity and how to foster an inclusive culture. Recognizing the opportunity to expand their impact, they established a consulting firm dedicated to promoting inclusivity in the luxury sector. Their firm offered a range of services, including training programs, strategic consulting, and diversity audits for companies looking to assess their current practices. Marcus and Claire found fulfillment in empowering brands to shift their perspectives and embrace inclusivity as a core value. They traveled across the country, conducting workshops and speaking engagements, all while fostering a community of like-minded individuals committed to creating change. As they worked with various brands, they encountered both successes and challenges. Some companies embraced their vision wholeheartedly, implementing new policies and initiatives that resonated with their employees and customers. Others were more resistant, hesitant to confront the biases that had been ingrained in their practices for years. In these situations, Marcus and Claire remained steadfast, understanding that true change often requires patience and perseverance. During one particularly challenging engagement with a high-end fashion house, Marcus and Claire faced pushback from executives who were reluctant to alter their traditional marketing strategies. The brand's image had long been associated with exclusivity and elitism, and they feared that embracing diversity might dilute their brand identity. Undeterred, Marcus and Claire devised a plan to demonstrate the potential benefits of diversity through data and storytelling. They gathered research that highlighted the positive impact of inclusive marketing on consumer engagement and brand loyalty. They presented case studies of other luxury brands that had successfully diversified their marketing strategies and seen an increase in sales and customer satisfaction. Embracing diversity doesn't mean abandoning your brand identity, Marcus explained during a tense meeting with the executives. It means expanding your narrative to include the voices and experiences of a broader audience. By doing so, you enhance your brand's relevance and connection to consumers. Claire added, "Think about the stories your brand tells. Can those stories evolve to reflect the diverse world we live in? Imagine the impact of marketing campaigns that resonate with a wider range of consumers, celebrating their unique experiences while still aligning with your brand values." Gradually, the executives began to see the potential for positive change. They decided to pilot an inclusive marketing campaign that featured diverse models and narratives, aiming to connect with a broader audience while remaining true to the brand's aesthetic. The results were promising, leading to increased engagement on social media and positive feedback from customers who appreciated the brand's efforts to embrace diversity. Buoyed by this success, Marcus and Claire continued to push for change, reminding brands that inclusivity was not just a trend but a necessity in an increasingly diverse world. They encouraged companies to engage with their communities, seeking input and feedback from individuals who had previously been overlooked. Through their consulting firm, they launched a series of community engagement initiatives, encouraging brands to collaborate with local artists and creators from underrepresented backgrounds. These partnerships not only enriched the brand's offerings but also fostered a sense of belonging and connection within the communities they served. As their reputation grew, Marcus and Claire began to receive media attention for their work. They were featured in interviews, podcasts, and articles that highlighted their mission to promote diversity in the luxury industry. They used these platforms to amplify their message, reaching an even wider audience and inspiring others to join their cause. One afternoon, while preparing for an upcoming speaking engagement, Marcus received an unexpected call from a prominent journalist who wanted to feature their story in a leading lifestyle magazine. The journalist was intrigued by their journey and the impact they were making in the luxury sector. When the article was published, it not only highlighted their efforts but also sparked discussions about the need for inclusivity in various industries. Readers were inspired by their narrative and many reached out, eager to learn more about how they could implement similar changes in their own fields. As they reflected on their journey, Marcus and Claire recognized the importance of sharing their story. They decided to co-author a book that chronicled their experiences, insights, and the lessons they had learned along the way. Their goal was to create a resource for individuals and organizations seeking to foster inclusivity and challenge biases within their industries. The writing process became a collaborative endeavor, allowing them to weave together their unique perspectives and voices. They included anecdotes from their journeys, practical tips for promoting diversity, and case studies of brands that had successfully embraced inclusivity. The book served as a guide for readers, encouraging them to confront their own biases and take actionable steps toward creating change. In their book, they emphasized that the journey toward inclusivity was not a destination, but a continuous process. They encouraged readers to remain open to learning and growing, understanding that setbacks were a natural part of the journey. They shared personal reflections on the challenges they had faced and the triumphs that had inspired them to keep pushing forward. As they finalized their manuscript, Marcus and Claire reflected on how far they had come since that initial encounter in the luxury store. What had started as a moment of misunderstanding had evolved into a powerful partnership dedicated to fostering inclusivity and challenging societal norms. They marveled at the impact they had made together and the lives they had touched along the way. In the months following the release of their book, they embarked on a national tour, hosting workshops and speaking engagements to promote their message. Their story resonated with audiences across the country, sparking conversations about diversity, allyship, and the importance of representation in every industry. Throughout their journey, Marcus and Claire continued to uplift and empower each other. Their friendship deepened as they celebrated their successes and navigated the challenges together. They became a source of inspiration for one another, reminding each other of their shared vision and commitment to creating a more inclusive world. As they stood side by side on stage during a packed event, they took a moment to appreciate the journey they had undertaken together. Their story was not just about two individuals. It was a testament to the power of connection, empathy, and the belief that change is possible when we come together. In the years that followed, Marcus and Claire became known as trailblazers in the luxury industry, advocating for inclusivity and representation in ways that had a lasting impact. Their work inspired countless individuals and organizations to reevaluate their practices, fostering a culture of inclusivity that continued to grow and thrive. Through their journey, Marcus and Claire proved that a single encounter can spark a movement, and that change begins with a willingness to listen, learn, and advocate for one another. Their legacy became a beacon of hope, reminding everyone that by embracing diversity, we can create a richer, more vibrant world for all. As the momentum for change grew within the luxury industry, Marcus and Claire recognized the need to expand their influence beyond the confines of their consulting firm. They envisioned a movement that could inspire not only brands but also consumers to embrace diversity and inclusivity in their everyday lives. To bring this vision to fruition, they organized a series of community events and initiatives aimed at raising awareness and fostering dialogue about the importance of representation in the luxury sector. The first event, aptly titled Luxury for All, took place in a vibrant community center in Brooklyn, New York. The goal was to create a space where individuals from diverse backgrounds could come together to share their stories, experiences, and perspectives on luxury. Marcus and Claire reached out to local artists, musicians, and speakers to participate, emphasizing the importance of highlighting voices that had traditionally been marginalized. On the day of the event, the community center buzzed with energy. Attendees lined up to register, and the atmosphere was charged with excitement. Marcus and Claire welcomed everyone, expressing their gratitude for the community's involvement. Today is about celebrating the richness of our diverse experiences, Marcus declared, standing before a diverse audience. Luxury is not just about high-end products, it's about the stories and connections we share. The event featured panel discussions, workshops, and live performances, allowing participants to engage with one another and learn from industry experts. During one panel discussion, a successful Black fashion designer shared her journey of breaking into the luxury market. She spoke candidly about the challenges she faced, from overcoming stereotypes to gaining recognition for her work. "I had to fight for my place in an industry that often overlooked talent based on race and background," she explained. "But I refused to let that stop me. I created my own opportunities and forged connections with those who believed in me." As the designer spoke, the audience listened intently, many nodding in agreement. Her story resonated with attendees who had faced similar challenges in their own lives. After the discussion, audience members eagerly engaged in conversations about the importance of supporting diverse creators and businesses. Claire led a workshop focused on consumer advocacy, encouraging attendees to become active participants in the movement for inclusivity. As consumers, we have the power to influence the brands we support, she emphasized. By demanding diversity in marketing and representation, we can drive change from the ground up. Attendees were encouraged to share their thoughts on what luxury meant to them and how they believed brands could better reflect their values. As the day progressed, the event fostered a sense of camaraderie and empowerment among participants. Marcus and Claire made it a point to circulate throughout the venue, engaging with attendees and encouraging them to share their stories. They listened intently as individuals recounted experiences where they had felt excluded or overlooked by the luxury market. These narratives underscored the need for a cultural shift in how brands approached representation. Towards the end of the event, Marcus and Claire took to the stage once more, inviting attendees to share their commitments to promoting inclusivity in their own lives. One by one, individuals stepped forward to express their pledges. "I commit to supporting brands that prioritize diversity," one attendee declared, earning enthusiastic applause from the crowd. Another shared, "I will use my voice on social media to advocate for representation in fashion." The atmosphere was electric as people rallied around the shared goal of creating a more inclusive luxury landscape. Inspired by the success of Luxury for All, Marcus and Claire decided to establish a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting inclusivity in the luxury industry. They named it Diverse Luxury Initiative, with the mission of advocating for representation and equity in luxury brands, while also supporting underrepresented creators and entrepreneurs. The organization quickly gained traction, attracting supporters and partners who shared their vision. They organized additional events, including workshops on entrepreneurship for aspiring designers from diverse backgrounds, mentorship programs connecting industry veterans with emerging talent, and community forums where individuals could voice their experiences and suggestions for change. As part of the Diverse Luxury Initiative, Marcus and Claire also launched a digital platform to amplify the voices of underrepresented creators and innovators. The platform served as a space where artists, designers, and entrepreneurs could showcase their work and share their stories, providing a platform for those who had historically been marginalized. To raise awareness about their cause, they initiated a social media campaign, encouraging individuals to share their own stories of luxury and representation using the hashtag #LuxuryForAll. The response was overwhelming, with people from all walks of life contributing their narratives. Some shared photos of their favorite luxury items and the stories behind them, while others spoke about their frustrations with the industry's lack of representation. As the campaign gained momentum, Marcus and Claire received messages from individuals expressing their gratitude for shedding light on these issues. Many shared how they felt empowered to demand change from the brands they supported and how their own understanding of luxury had evolved. In the following months, they organized a series of pop-up events across major cities, showcasing products and designs from diverse creators. These events aimed to create a space where consumers could engage directly with underrepresented designers, fostering a sense of connection and appreciation for their work. At one such event in Los Angeles, attendees marveled at the creativity and craftsmanship on display. From jewelry to fashion, the offerings reflected a rich tapestry of cultural influences. Marcus and Claire took the time to interact with each designer, helping them tell their stories and connect with potential customers. As the Diverse Luxury Initiative gained recognition, brands began to take notice. Several luxury companies reached out to Marcus and Claire, expressing interest in collaborating to promote diversity within their organizations. They recognized the need to engage with their consumer base on a deeper level and sought guidance on how to authentically embrace inclusivity. Marcus and Claire welcomed the opportunity to work with these brands, understanding that change within the industry would require collaboration. They conducted workshops for brand executives and teams, helping them navigate discussions about diversity, representation, and the importance of inclusivity in their practices. Through these collaborations, brands began to implement meaningful changes in their marketing strategies, hiring practices, and community engagement efforts. Some launched campaigns that featured diverse models, highlighting the beauty of representation in their advertising. Others focused on collaborating with underrepresented artists to create exclusive collections that celebrated cultural heritage and diversity. As the Diverse Luxury Initiative continued to flourish, Marcus and Claire received invitations to speak at international conferences and events where they shared their vision for a more inclusive luxury landscape. They spoke passionately about the importance of fostering connections and understanding between different communities, emphasizing that true luxury lies in the richness of diverse experiences. At one prominent conference in Paris, Marcus addressed a crowd of industry leaders and innovators, sharing the story of the Diverse Luxury Initiative and its impact. "We have the power to redefine what luxury means," he asserted. "Luxury should be a celebration of our differences, a reflection of our shared humanity. It's time to dismantle the barriers that have held us back and create a space where everyone feels seen and valued." Claire followed with a compelling call to action, urging industry leaders to take responsibility for the narratives they perpetuate. "We must move beyond tokenism and strive for genuine representation," she stated. "Our brands have a responsibility to reflect the diversity of our society, and we can no longer ignore the voices that have been silenced for too long." As they wrapped up their presentation, they invited attendees to join them in committing to actionable change within their organizations. Many responded positively, eager to collaborate on initiatives that aligned with the principles of the Diverse Luxury Initiative. Their impact extended beyond the luxury industry. As they continued to advocate for inclusivity, Marcus and Claire found their voices resonating in other sectors as well. They began to partner with organizations focused on social justice, education, and community empowerment, recognizing that the fight for equality transcended industry boundaries. The Diverse Luxury Initiative became a model for change, inspiring similar organizations to form in other sectors. As Marcus and Claire traveled to share their message, they encountered individuals from various industries who were eager to learn from their experiences. They found themselves in conversations about allyship, representation, and the necessity of fostering inclusive environments in every field. As the movement grew, Marcus and Claire remained grounded in their mission. They continued to emphasize the importance of listening, learning, and amplifying the voices of those who had been historically marginalized. They understood that while progress had been made, there was still much work to be done. In a significant moment of reflection, they organized a gathering for their team and supporters to celebrate the impact of the Diverse Luxury Initiative thus far. As they shared stories of triumph and resilience, Marcus looked around the room, feeling a sense of gratitude for the community they had built together. Today is a testament to our shared commitment to creating a more inclusive world, he said, raising a glass. Let us continue to uplift each other and strive for a future where diversity is not just acknowledged, but celebrated. As the cheers erupted and laughter filled the room, Marcus and Claire felt invigorated, ready to take on the challenges that lay ahead. They understood that the journey toward inclusivity was ongoing, but with their shared vision and the support of their community, they were confident that they could continue to effect meaningful change. In the years that followed, their dedication to promoting inclusivity became a cornerstone of their lives. They remained committed to their mission, continually seeking new ways to advocate for representation in the luxury industry and beyond. The diverse community they had fostered continued to thrive, serving as a reminder that when individuals come together to celebrate their differences, they can create a world where everyone feels valued and empowered. Ultimately, Marcus and Claire's journey exemplified the power of empathy, collaboration, and the belief that change is possible when we dare to challenge the status quo. Through their relentless efforts, they transformed the luxury industry, fostering a culture of inclusivity that celebrated diversity and embraced the richness of human experience. Their story became a beacon of hope for many, inspiring individuals and organizations alike to join the movement for a more inclusive future. And as they looked ahead, Marcus and Claire knew that their work was far from over. The quest for representation and equity in luxury would continue, fueled by their unwavering passion for change. As Marcus and Claire reflected on their journey, they recognized that the impact of their efforts transcended the luxury industry alone. Their experiences highlighted the intricate connections between representation, culture, and consumer behavior, illuminating the need for ongoing dialogue about inclusivity in all sectors. Motivated by their success, they decided to expand the scope of the Diverse Luxury Initiative to encompass broader conversations about diversity and representation across various industries. The first step in this expansion involved conducting research to understand how other sectors approached issues of inclusivity. Marcus and Claire enlisted a diverse team of researchers, sociologists, and industry experts to explore different industries' practices, challenges, and successes related to representation. They sought insights from fashion, entertainment, hospitality, and beyond, recognizing that each industry had unique dynamics influencing its approach to diversity. The research team immersed themselves in interviews, focus groups, and surveys, gathering qualitative and quantitative data to build a comprehensive picture of how diversity was perceived and implemented across various fields. Their findings revealed a common thread. While progress had been made in many industries, systemic barriers and biases still hindered genuine representation. One of the most striking insights from the research was how consumer behavior was influenced by representation in marketing and media. In the fashion industry, for instance, a significant portion of consumers reported feeling more inclined to support brands that showcase diversity in their advertising. The data indicated a strong correlation between representation and brand loyalty, suggesting that consumers increasingly sought to align themselves with companies that reflected their values. Armed with this information, Marcus and Claire began to formulate a strategy for their next phase. They envisioned creating a multi-industry summit focused on inclusivity, where leaders from various sectors could come together to share best practices, learn from one another, and collaborate on initiatives that promoted representation. The summit would serve as a platform for dialogue, innovation, and collective action. Planning the summit proved to be a monumental task. Marcus and Claire reached out to industry leaders, influencers, and advocates from different fields, inviting them to participate in this groundbreaking event. They aimed to create a diverse lineup of speakers and panelists who could share their experiences and expertise, fostering meaningful discussions around inclusivity. As the summit date approached, excitement and anticipation filled the air. The event was set to take place in a prestigious venue in New York City, a city known for its cultural diversity and vibrancy. The venue buzzed with energy as attendees arrived, eager to engage in conversations about representation and collaboration. The summit kicked off with an opening keynote address by a renowned advocate for social justice and inclusion. She spoke passionately about the importance of dismantling systemic barriers and fostering an environment where every voice is heard. Inclusivity is not just a buzzword, it's a fundamental human right, she proclaimed, capturing the audience's attention. We must commit to creating spaces where everyone feels valued and empowered to contribute. Following the keynote, Marcus and Claire moderated a panel discussion featuring leaders from various industries, including fashion, entertainment, and technology. Each panelist shared insights into their experiences navigating the complexities of diversity within their fields. A prominent fashion designer emphasized the importance of representation in her collections, stating, "When I design, I consider the diverse stories and backgrounds of the people who wear my clothes. It's essential to celebrate individuality and authenticity." The discussion continued, with panelists addressing the challenges they faced in implementing inclusive practices. One speaker, a tech entrepreneur, shared her journey of founding a company focused on diversity in tech. "It's not enough to simply hire diverse talent. We must create an environment where everyone feels they belong," she remarked. Diversity should be embedded in the fabric of our organizations, from our hiring practices to our company culture. As the conversation flowed, attendees were encouraged to ask questions and share their perspectives. A young entrepreneur in the audience expressed her frustration with the lack of representation in the startup ecosystem, highlighting the need for mentorship and support for underrepresented founders. The panelists responded thoughtfully, acknowledging the systemic challenges and expressing their commitment to fostering a more inclusive environment. After the panel discussion, attendees broke into smaller groups for interactive workshops, where they brainstormed actionable strategies for promoting inclusivity within their respective industries. Each workshop focused on specific topics, such as allyship, marketing strategies, and creating inclusive workplace cultures. In one workshop, facilitators led participants through exercises aimed at identifying and addressing biases within their organizations. Attendees engaged in candid discussions about their experiences, sharing insights and brainstorming solutions. "We need to confront our biases head-on," one participant remarked. "Only then can we begin to create an environment where everyone feels welcome." The workshops fostered a spirit of collaboration and innovation, with participants exchanging ideas and forming connections. Many attendees expressed their gratitude for the opportunity to engage with like-minded individuals and learn from each other's experiences. As the summit progressed, Marcus and Claire organized a networking session, allowing attendees to connect with one another and explore potential partnerships. The atmosphere was electric, filled with conversations about shared goals and aspirations. Amid the excitement, Marcus and Claire took a moment to reflect on how far they had come. They marveled at the diverse community that had come together to champion inclusivity and felt a sense of pride in the impact of their efforts. The summit concluded with a closing ceremony where Marcus and Claire shared their vision for the future of the Diverse Luxury Initiative. They announced plans to establish an annual conference that would bring together leaders from various industries to continue the dialogue around representation and collaboration. "We must keep the momentum going," Claire emphasized, her voice resonating with conviction. "Change takes time, but together, we can create a movement that transcends industries and inspires generations to come." As attendees left the summit, They carried with them a renewed sense of purpose and commitment to championing inclusivity within their industries. The Diverse Luxury Initiative had become a catalyst for change, inspiring individuals to advocate for representation and equity across various sectors. In the months following the summit, Marcus and Claire continued to build on the connections forged during the event. They initiated collaborations with organizations across different industries, working together to develop initiatives that promoted diversity and inclusivity. One significant collaboration involved partnering with a nonprofit organization focused on empowering young women in STEM fields. Marcus and Claire recognized the importance of diversifying the tech industry and were eager to support initiatives that encouraged young girls to pursue careers in technology. Together, they launched a mentorship program that connected young women with industry professionals, providing guidance and support as they navigated their educational and career paths. As word of the Diverse Luxury Initiative's effort spread, more organizations reached out for collaboration. Marcus and Claire found themselves at the forefront of a movement that transcended industries, inspiring a new generation of leaders committed to promoting inclusivity. They also utilized social media to amplify their message, sharing success stories and highlighting the efforts of individuals and organizations making a difference. The #LuxuryForAll campaign evolved into a broader initiative, encouraging people to share their commitments to inclusivity across various sectors. In addition to their advocacy work, Marcus and Claire published articles and op-eds in prominent publications, shedding light on the importance of representation and the need for systemic change. They advocated for policies that supported diversity and equity, urging industry leaders to take a stand for inclusivity. As they continued to champion their cause, they were invited to speak at universities, conferences, and industry events, where they shared their insights and experiences. Their message resonated with students and professionals alike, inspiring a wave of activism and advocacy for inclusivity. Years passed, and the Diverse Luxury Initiative became synonymous with a fight for representation across industries. Marcus and Claire's dedication to their mission transformed the landscape of luxury and beyond, fostering a culture of inclusivity that celebrated diversity in all its forms. Reflecting on their journey, Marcus and Claire acknowledged the challenges they had faced but celebrated the progress they had achieved. They recognized that the road to inclusivity was long, but they remained committed to their vision of a world where everyone felt valued and empowered. As they looked to the future, they envisioned a world where diversity was not just acknowledged but embraced, where individuals from all backgrounds could thrive and contribute to the tapestry of society. They knew that their work was far from over, but with the continued support of their community and the momentum of their movement, they were confident that change was not only possible, but inevitable. In this ever-evolving landscape, Marcus and Claire stood as champions for inclusivity, inspiring a new generation of leaders to join them in the fight for a more equitable future. Their stories served as a testament to the power of empathy, collaboration, and the belief that when individuals come together to celebrate their differences, they can create a world where everyone belongs.
Disclaimer: this channel does not support or tolerate any form of discrimination, racism, prejudice, or violation of human rights. The stories presented here are original and created by the author with the aim of promoting reflection, awareness, and dialogue. All content is developed with respect for diversity and the dignity of all people.